All right, welcome back. So now you know how to create a sequence. Finally, it's time to get started with the editing process. So it's very easy. We're going to open our footage folder first. And remember, Nature 2 was the clip which we used last time to create the sequence. This was 1080p with 24 frame rate. This was good for us. That's what we want our settings to be. So I'm just going to drag this. This is going to start our editing process. It's going to create a sequence here. You can see the sequence also comes here. So that's the same name because we just dragged this clip, but your sequence is always here. And this is important if you have multiple sequences, but we're not going to talk about that right now. And here are our clips. Now let's go through some of the panels here that you're seeing. So the first panel, of course, that you're seeing here is the program monitor. This is where any changes you make to the editing will be reflected here. So this is kind of important. So you can always click on play, for example. You can if I just do this, you can see it's just playing the video. I can stop at any time and it's just reflecting wherever this timeline indicator is there. So I can just move it like this. Basically, you're kind of getting a preview, and you'll start to understand this more when we drag in more clips. Now, one important point I can make straight away is that, which will help you just save some processing power and avoid lag and hanging of this Premiere Pro, is that you don't always have to play back this program monitor window at full power. Okay, usually it's by default is set to full here. You can either select 1/4 or half. What that means is that when you're editing it and when you're just seeing the preview in this playback video, in the program monitor, you don't really have to play it at full power because this is just a preview. You're just coming to know what's happening to the video. If you select full, it's okay, there's no problem, but you need to have a slightly stronger laptop for this. If you have a good RAM, then it's good, but usually it's not a bad idea to select 1/4. If at 1/4 it's not looking too good, you can even select half. So for right now, I'll select half, but at least that's going to just cut down some of the work that Premiere Pro, the laptop, has to do, right? So that's going to save you some time and frustration later on. So because this is just for preview, later on when we export the video, that is the time when the video finally will be exported at the highest settings, and when it saves onto your folder wherever you're saving it, when we export it, that's going to be a full quality video. This is just a preview, so we're just using half. Just a bonus tip, you don't have to follow this, but I think it definitely makes a difference, especially when you keep on piling videos, layers, like we'll be seeing later on. Okay, now let's look at some of the other panels. This we've already seen. This is the part where you are putting all your videos and your audio. This panel you don't have to worry about right now. We're going to see this later, but basically this is very similar to editing. Like, when you're editing, just expand this slightly. When you're editing like a video, for example, if I just, with this clip selected, if I just change the exposure, you can see it makes it brighter or darker. So similar to photo editing, it's just that this time is doing on the video. Right now, not too important for us. We're not making any changes to this right now. Okay, then we have this panel here. Right now it's selected to effect controls. This is important because this is going to do things like scaling the video if you want to make it small or big, reducing the opacity of a video, and a lot of different things. But right now, this is going to be slightly more advanced for us. We're not going to see this right now. We're going to see this later on. But right now, there's in this panel here, if you just click this little arrow here, and it says source, right? Now, this source monitor or this source window is slightly important, and I'm just going to be talking about this right now. So let's first of all, just try to understand the very basics. So we just drag this clip. Right now, this is the only clip. We've created a sequence with this clip of the settings. Then we have this toolbar here. Right now, only one tool is important to us, which is this razor tool. And there's another tool, which is selection tool, which is selected by default. Selection tool just helps you select things and move them around. Okay, so it's very simple to understand. And the razor tool, like you must have already guessed, it allows you to cut the clip. Okay, and of course, I'm going to be talking about the source window here later on slightly. But right now, just for the basics, this is all you need to know. So let's just start our editing process with whatever tools that we've learned till now. So let's say I'm editing this video, and for me, this is too long. This clip is too long. I want to just cut it somewhere. Okay, so this is where the razor tool will come. So there are two ways of doing this. One is you can select the razor tool like this and just cut it wherever you want. So let's say I want this clip to stop. Let's just play this right about here. Okay, so I want to cut this here, and then you can just use your selection tool and just select this part and press delete, and that's going to just go, right? That's one way. Let's press Control Z or Command Z to undo things. And another way, a faster way of doing this is you can, if you just hover your mouse here on this clip, and if I just click and drag, that's another way to cut down the clip. Okay. And if you ever feel maybe you cut it too far, so till now you're happy and this is running, and then you feel, no, I should have had more of this clip. Don't worry, it's not like you have to import it back. Again, you can just, if you just hover it slightly towards the right, you can see this time the direction of this cursor is on the left, but if I just slightly hover it to the right, I get it towards the right, and this means I can extend it back again. So you never lose the clip. You can always get back to shorter, make it longer again just by using this cursor here. You don't even have to wait for it to actually turn to the right, even if it's like this. But if I start dragging, you can see it just increases it again, right? So this is how you shorten a clip, cut a clip, whatever you want to call it, splitting, right? So, and that was pretty straightforward. Let's get our other clips now. So let's get Nature 1. Nature 1 is shot at 30 FPS, and again it's 1080p, so we won't have any problem. Let's just drag it here, and one thing you're going to see is, suppose I just leave it like this. Now there's a gap between the two, so you're just going to see black in the program monitor. Right? That's because there's nothing here. And if I bring this closer, if I just select it and bring this closer, just notice what happens. The moment I bring it close, almost like a magnet, it just attaches to this image, which is very convenient for an editor. Right? I don't have to exactly place this right here, because otherwise what you'll have to do is, there's another tool which is you'll be using quite often, which is this bar under here. Okay, if I take it to the right, what this bar does is just kind of zooms out, and you get a bigger view of the timeline. The clips just appear smaller, right? So this is the time when you'll be looking at the entire project when you're editing. You can also do the opposite. I can just go like this, and that's going to expand the view. Okay, now if this magnetic thing that you're seeing is not there, what will happen is I'll have to be very careful when I drag it, and I'll have to bring it right next to this. But right now you can see, if I just leave it right here also, Premiere Pro just attaches it like this. So you bring it very close. And the reason why this is happening is because this little icon here, which says snap in timeline, is on, and this is pretty important. I would suggest that you leave it on, because if I leave it off, then if I leave it off, that means it's not blue anymore. Let me show you what will happen. It won't snap. Even if I bring it very close, I'll have to do this just like this. So I'll have to like zoom in really close by using this, and then make it like this. And sometimes what can happen is, because if you're not careful, you can just override the first clip like this, and you don't want to do that, right? So keep this on most of the times. So we're just going to keep this on, and I'm just going to snap it like this. It just snaps on its own to the end of the last clip. So very convenient. So the next thing that you have to know about is our tracks. Okay, so these are tracks. Let me just expand this a bit. Okay, so you can see V1, V2, V3, A1, A2, A3. This just means when you drag something, you can place them on any of the tracks. The videos will come on V1, V2, V3. You can even, add tracks like this if you need more tracks, which we'll be doing later on, like this. And the audio automatically comes in the A1, A2, A3, which is the audio. So you can see here, the first video did not have any audio, so nothing came here, but the second video had this audio also attached to it, so it's come together. We don't need this audio because we have a separate music clip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to right click on it, and I'm just going to click on unlink, and then I can just delete this. Okay, I don't know why it happened here, but usually even if you just select the audio separately, you don't have to press on unlink. You can just click it. There was some way that this was linked to the video, the audio in the video. Otherwise, usually you just click on the audio file and you can just press delete also. But if it's taking both together, that means it's highlighting both of them together, then you'll just have to use this unlink feature. But now the audio is gone. We just have the video. Now, let's get in our third clip, which is the 4K clip. Okay, so again, we'll have to just make that changes. This also has an audio file. You can see again, it's highlighting both. So I'm just going to click on unlink, and I'm just going to press on delete. So now we just have the video. We have our snap in timeline tool on, so it's just going to snap when I bring it closer, let me just zoom out slightly so you can see we have a long video right now. Let's make it slightly shorter, this second video. Maybe we'll stop right here, so you know what to do. Either I can use a razor tool, or a convenient way is to just go here. And the good part about the snap in tool is that it works everywhere, not just in attaching clips. You can see here also, when I'm dragging this closer, it'll snap to where the timeline indicator is. That means where we stopped. Okay, so this is your timeline indicator, and if I just bring it close, you can see it'll snap if you observe carefully, like this. So it makes it very convenient, this tool. Okay, then let's just, so one way I can just bring this closer. Okay, another way, if you have too big a gap and you don't want to drag it around, just press right click and press on ripple delete. It's just going to bring it whatever it just closes down any gap that it sees. That's what ripple delete does. So it's a faster way of doing things. All right, now let's also make this clip a bit shorter. And the problem with this clip, as we noticed before, this is a 4K clip, so we'll have to resize it to 1080p. So how you do that? Now, you know from the last video, I'm just going to click on set to frame size, and you can see that right now it has taken, we are seeing the full video because we have set it to 1080p. So we've trimmed all the 3 clips. This clip we had to resize also. We have done that. We've got rid of any unwanted audio. So we are doing pretty well. Let's see a preview of this. So here is the time when you're going to look at the program monitor. And now, the moment the other clip is going to come, this looks beautiful. And finally, our last clip, Nature 3, is going to play. So that's good. We've got a decent edit already. Now, I wanted to talk a bit about this. Remember, this time we were trimming the clips. That means we imported the clip first into this timeline.